Welcome to the video. In here, you will learn everything you need to meditate and to become mindful. Like I mentioned in every video, you don't need to watch 20 more videos about meditation because this one has got you covered. It has everything you need to start. Scrolling for information is mindless, so your first step is to fully pay attention to the video. Don't check your notifications, don't check your distractions, your comments, don't check anything else, and just pay attention to what I'm saying. The analogy that I like to use is the allegory of the cave, which is basically just a situation divided in 3 steps. The first one you see on the left is the life of the people who always lived there. Since birth, they were trapped watching the shadows, thinking it's reality. The middle ground, we've got the projection of the shadows, and we clearly see that. There's much more to see than in the first room. And the third part of the allegory is the real world. People who are deep in the cave don't know about the outside world, the real world. Their reality is just seeing shadows, illusions projected by the middle ground. If one gained consciousness, then he would look around and realize that the shadows were just mere illusions. He'd escape and finally go into the real world. And it's all thanks to this man realizing the circumstances of his reality. In today's world, we're so distracted by shopping malls, the news, the internet. All of this doesn't give us enough time to look around and to think. And through mindfulness, to see more of life. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is being aware of the present moment. If your focus is fully on what I'm saying right now and you register everything I'm saying in the sentence, then you are mindful. Look around you. What do you see? Do you feel the space you're in? The colors that are projecting into your eyes? The quality of the air that you're breathing? All of this comes through observation. If you're in a place you spend your entire time in, for example your bedroom, then it might be weird and feel weird to look around. But that is just because you've been used to just entering your room and not being mindful of the fact that you're in this space here. It is a force of habit. In fact, some realization that helped me a lot is realizing that this room, the one that I'm in right now, is in itself an allegory of the cave. I used to spend many hours hunched back looking at the internet, and the internet to me is basically the shadows that we saw in the painting. And when I started meditating, I started gaining awareness and consciousness, and I started looking around. And finally I realized that the real world is here. And so I went out more often. You can say that mindfulness is a skill that improves every other aspect of your life. Because when you're mindful, you're more aware of your thoughts that you're having, and you're able to focus better on what you're doing. For your whole life, you're going to be in 2 mental states. One, you're going to be mindful, and the other one, you're going to be thinking. Which one would you rather be? Being in your thoughts is the opposite of being mindful, and that is mind wandering. Mind wandering is when your mind drifts away from the current thing that you're doing right now, meaning that you start thinking. Once you're in that state, your focus is not on the present moment, and you're just entirely into your own reality, your thoughts. Mind wandering is caused by excessive internet usage. From all of the bad habits that you accumulated for years, your mind is prone to drift its focus away. When you scroll on TikTok, for example, you're seeing new data every few seconds. When you're playing video games, you're introduced to fast-paced scenarios. And when you're just looking for YouTube or a new movie you want to watch, you're scrolling through many thumbnails. All of these are parts of information overloads. So when you constantly try to stimulate yourself with new information every second, then your mind will adapt to it, meaning that your mind will wander. The worst part about scrolling is that you're not mindful when you're doing it. Sometimes you're not even aware that you just have shit posture or that somebody's calling you. And obviously, mind wandering is caused by your phone. Literally just reduce your time on your phone and you'll see major changes. Take a big step back from social media And when you do use your phone, use it more mindfully. Instead of just picking up your phone for habits, you have to tell yourself why you're going to do that. For example, oh, I need to text my friend, or I need to check what time it is. And if you actually want to make your content consumption useful, then switch from entertainment to education. This is like going from Instagram Reels to full long form podcasts. But still, overdoing any of these two things will be a detriment. You're not on this earth to just watch other people live their lives. You have to live your own life. So go outside and touch some grass. Now, this mind wandering has serious implications to your life. You get thoughts every few seconds and you cannot concentrate on what people are saying because you're just speaking to yourself in your mind. Most of these thoughts can be negative. And these are things like your anxiety popping off, you thinking about a bad situation, or giving negative judgment to something. Even when the thought is positive, mind wandering can be negative. I'm taking a little break. We need to see the sun. So our goal is to become more mindful and stop most of the mind wandering. Of course, you cannot completely eliminate mind wandering. You'll always have thoughts in your mind, but the aim is to be aware of them. The more mindful you are, the more realizations you're going to get that you are mind wandering. And the quicker you realize, the faster you're going to be mindful of the present moment. When you understand this concept, you have the realization that you are not the thought. This works the same for emotions. You're not angry, you just see the anger that you have. When I go through life, most of my thoughts are just distant voices that are not even worth listening to. And I'm just trying to be mindful on the present moment for as much time as I can. Here's a scenario. There are two guys who are about to be in the same situation. One guy is mindful, he has a good attention span and he meditated for years. And the second guy just scrolls on TikTok for 8 hours. They go into the kitchen and their moms have something to tell them, and she's very excited to tell. The mindful guy will listen to every single syllable that his mom is saying, and he's going to pay attention to everything that she's saying. As for the mindful guy, his mom will give him the same announcement, but guess what? He cannot hear anything. He's too distracted in his mind, and he literally just stares through his mom. Even if your mom doesn't consciously think, oh, he wasn't being mindful, the subconscious picks it up. Have you ever talked to somebody and felt like they were not with you, but instead they were in their mind? That's a pretty unfortunate situation for both parties. Another part of mind wandering are the thoughts that you'll get from your lizard brain. The lizard brain is basically the voice in your mind that would tell you back in the caveman days that there is a danger and you need to fight or run away. It signals to the brain alertness and causes stress when needed. It taught us what's dangerous and produced anxiety and fear, and the amygdala will light up when you feel these emotions. It's a strong part of the brain that keeps us alive, and this part of the brain is called the amygdala. But in today's world, this voice in your mind is manipulated and it tells you to do the nice and comfortable things that are actually a detriment to your life. Basically doing the bad habits. It's the reason why you do the bad habits, why you're addicted, or why you get anxiety. We don't have predators trying to kill us all the time, so our mind occupies us with lesser problems. But thankfully, we've got another part in our brain called the prefrontal cortex, shortened to the acronyms of PFC. Prefrontal cortex meaning that it's here in front. This is the most evolved part of our brains that makes us humans. Is the reason why we have consciousness and why we can be aware. And it doesn't turn us into animals with no morals and thinking. And your PFC reminds you of self-improvements, why you need to stay mindful and go away from mind-wandering activities. So we want our PFCs to be as active as possible and slowly shrink down the voice of the lizard brain. Have you ever had an internal conflict? If you have intentions to stop an addiction, you probably did have. Let's say you want to start a diet. There will be a war with the two sides of your brain, the PFC and the lizard brain, and one voice would tell you to just eat the junk food. Come on, it's nice. And the other one would be like, no, but that's bad. Sugar is not healthy and I need to lose weight. When you have this clash between the PFC and the lizard brain, you have an opportunity to listen to one of these two. When you resist your temptations and you go for the diets, your PFC strengthens and your lizard brain gets weaker. But if you give in to your temptation and you eat the junk food, then your lizard brain gets stronger and the PFC gets weaker. So in life, you have to make decisions that will strengthen your PFC. But guess what? Meditation reduces the voice of the lizard brain. So how do you meditate? You've seen those people in the lotus position with their closed eyes and their hands in the shape of Gyan Mudras, but maybe you don't understand what they're actually doing here. There are millions of different meditations, but I'll show you the single one that is for mind wandering, to eliminate it. The position in which you find yourself doesn't really matter. You can do it laying down, sitting. The point is to have a nice position in order for you to breathe deeply. Your anchor point is the thing you're focusing on while meditating. And this anchor point is things that you sense through your senses. So like your hearing, your touch, your smell. But the most common one is breathing. And once you close your eyes, you will start the meditation cycles. There's a 4-step process to this cycle. And shout out to Hamza, I didn't make this. The first step is being mindful of the present moment. You're aware of your breath and your focus is purely projected towards the breath. The second step is when your focus drifts away. This is when your mind wanders away and you're thinking about something. So the first step is realizing that you are thinking and being mindless, and your focus on your breath has gone away. And this leads us to the fourth step, which is putting our focus back on the present moment. When you put your focus back on your breath, this is where you get the meditation point. This is like one push-up to your mindfulness. And you can feel that very well when you meditate. Putting your focus back requires a certain amount of energy, effort, and attention. But the more you meditate, the faster you realize that you are thinking. So don't get annoyed that you were just thinking, because that's the point. You've been mind-wandering for years, so don't expect to have the mind of a yogi who has trained for decades. You can't change your addictions in a click of your fingers if your willpower is too weak. And from what I see, meditation is the workouts and mindfulness is the gains. Since you watched this video from the beginning, you clearly know what mindfulness is. You don't want to be a slave to your addictions anymore. You want to change your life and improve your mental health. You want to become the observer of your thoughts and not be your thoughts. You want to feel what you're eating instead of just watching YouTube while you're eating. You want to be able to understand what your loved ones are saying. You want a longer attention span for you to focus on your goals, your studies, your projects, anything in your life. And finally, you want to be mindful. It's one of the most beautiful experiences in life to be able to just stay in one place and be mindful. If you want all the benefits of mindfulness, then you have to meditate for every single day of your life. It's going to be like eating, drinking, sleeping. If you want to start meditating, then just show up to practice. Let's start together now. Do this with me. Tap your index and your thumb together. Concentrate on the technique, like this. And at some point, you're going to feel that you're going to lose focus on this because of a thought, and you'll be tapping mindlessly. Once you realize that your focus was lost, put your focus back on the index and your thumb. Like this. And congratulations, you just meditated. This can be done not only through your classical meditation or tapping your fingers, but throughout your entire day. Your whole day you're going to get thoughts and go through the cycles of meditation, and it's your job to put your focus back on your present moment as soon as possible. And also be aware of what you're thinking. Is it positive, negative? Is it an idea, a realization, a judgment? Your mind thinking is just another sign that your brain just wants to spend time thinking. Since you distracted yourself so much, you didn't allow yourself to have time to think and look around. But I'll get to that topic in one of my next videos, and you'll realize how thinking is actually so powerful, and also the power of belief. You know what? Do this with me. Put down your electronics, pause the video, and just stare at your wall or outside, and start thinking. For a minute. At the end of my minute, I'm going to share what I just thought in a minute. So I spent a minute thinking, and I realized I made a lot of progress since a month, and I'm really proud of it, and my parents just woke up, so I'm going to say hello to them. There are different types of breathing patterns, and when you're meditating, it's important to know which pattern you're using. I'll make a little rant about how most people breathe. A lot of us have energy knots in our bodies, and we're blocking ourselves from reaching our fullest potential of breathing. The way that you breathe in life determines how well you're going to live. So ask yourself, how is your breath? Is it quick or slow, shallow or deep, mindless or mindful? So visualize a king sitting on his throne. How is he going to breathe? You can probably see how he's taking the deepest and most powerful breaths with his belly bulging out. And look at someone with shallow breathing. The only thing raising is the chest. A deeper breath literally looks like that of a king. It's not the chest that's moving, but it's the stomach. It's a breath so deep that the energy of the air circulating in your body reaches down to your balls. So this is not really part of your meditation, but throughout your day, focus on breathing like a king. And when I think about it, it's kind of messed up that school doesn't teach us basic things about humans. To teach us how to literally function better as humans. Meaning how to sleep better, how to eat clean, and how to breathe properly. And I'm glad that you found this video. You have the opportunity to make a conscious decision to improve all the things that I mentioned in this video. And that's a beautiful opportunity. So you're welcome on this video. So advice everybody told you is stand up straight with your shoulders back, deep briefly, and don't round your spine. So the way to breathe for meditation is simple. You've got a pattern that you want to adopt and you follow it. And there are different patterns for you to try out. The way you breathe normally is probably just a 2-second inhale and 2-second exhale. I can tell you right now that this is shallow breathing, except if you're like inhaling like crazy. Then we've got 2 types of breathing, for calm and for focus. If you want to breathe for focus, then inhale slowly and exhale quickly. And if you want to breathe for calm, then inhale quickly and exhale slowly. Before going to sleep, I meditate for 15 minutes and my breathing pattern is that of the calm, meaning that I inhale quickly and exhale slowly. But I mean, quickly doesn't mean 2 seconds. I inhale for 10 seconds and then for 30 seconds I exhale slowly. That's about my average. I do this while laying down on my bed and engaging all of the muscles or body functions that allow me to breathe this way. So let's do this together. We're going to take 5 deep breaths and follow the steps that I'm going to give you. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. How do you feel now? Do you feel like you're more present, alive, energized? That's because you entered the oxygen in your brain. Up next, we've got a breathing pattern used to cool down your emotions. It's basically like doing 2 inhales, meaning that you inhale once, and then you inhale once again until your lungs are full. You can do this twice or even 3 times, but the point is to fully load out your lungs and then you just let it all go. So this looks like this. And lastly, we've got the Wim Hof breathing technique. This guy is known as the coldest man on earth. He literally just bathes in ice cold water. And when you're under really cold temperatures, you can probably feel how your breath is blocked. For example, when you take a cold shower. In my experience, I felt how my breath was attacked. So Wim Hof can definitely tell us something about breathing. His technique is used to gain awareness and to purge all of the carbon dioxide that you have in your body. The technique goes as follows. You take 20 or 30 breaths that last for 3 seconds, but you do them very exaggerated, meaning deeply. Once you reach your last breath, exhale everything that you have and just stay like that for as long as you can. Of course, don't do it for too long because you're going to faint, but do it until you feel uncomfortable in your lungs. And then you can just take a deep breath in, and then the experiment is over. This is a full guide where I'm actually going to show you the practices. So let's do this together right now. I'm going to indicate with my hand when you're going to inhale and when you're going to exhale. So follow these steps. Notice the difference in your vision right now. Look around and see how present you are in the moment. Feel how each breath you're taking in just feels like there's taste to it. It feels nice. This is how you're supposed to feel with every breath that you take in life. Also, you might have noticed that I was only breathing from my nose. Breathing from your nose is much healthier than breathing from your mouth. There are so many studies for why mouth breathing is a detriment to your health, and you'll realize why breathing from your nose is much healthier than breathing from your mouth. I really recommend for you to do the Wim Hof technique for whenever you feel stressed. It'll give you more oxygen in your brain, and you'll be able to think more clearly and more rationally. And also it makes air taste nice. The last part of each of my self-improvement videos is the structure, meaning the plan for the thing that I talked about in the video. So for meditation, you're going to meditate for the rest of your life. And you want to slowly become more and more consistent over time with meditation. Meaning that each month or even each year, you increase the number of sessions that you have for meditation. So for example, this month of January, you meditated for 5 days. But then in February, you meditate for 10 days, March 15, all the way to a month where you actually meditate every single day, because that is consistency. That is actually my next video. I'm going to make a video about habit trackers and consistency. And for the example of the year, since you're going to meditate for the rest of your life, this year you're going to make 100 sessions for meditation, but the next year you're going to do 200, then 300 the next year. The way you track these sessions is through a habit tracker. I swear, I always preach about the habit tracker. But this time, I'll give you a precise habit tracker and a plan that you're going to follow if you've never meditated in your life. Before you get the habit tracker, I want you to decide at what time you're going to meditate every single day. So for example, let's meditate at 8 p.m. every single night. And if you're a beginner to meditation, you can start off with a minute. And then the next week you'll do 2, 3, and then in a year you'll probably do like an hour if you're consistent enough. So this is the habit tracker. You see that in the first week you have 1 minute of meditation to do. Then the second week you have 2, and then the third week you have 3. And the dates here, 22, 23, 24, the dates of the first week are part of January, and going from 1 all the way to 18, it is the month of February. You can literally just copy this format, and I want you to implement habit trackers in your life because it's really going to give you a lot of accountability and you're going to actually see progress. And when you think about it, meditation is one of the best habits ever in self-improvement because when you become mindful, you're going to save so much more time. Giving 15 minutes of meditation every day, constantly just bring your focus back to the present moment, you're probably going to save like hours of progress in your day. So, for the rest of your life, I want you to be aware of when you're present and when you're thinking. You must also lower your information intake, meaning that you use TikTok less, that you watch less podcasts if you're literally watching 12 hours of podcasts every day. This also means playing less video games and just staying away from technology. It's also just fairly simple. Watch the video again if you want to ingrain the information that I give you. If you want to really change your life, then the only thing you can do is not just keep the information, but it's also to apply it. If you really want to start meditation and mindfulness, but you click off this video and just watch 10 other videos that don't have to do anything with what you want, then you're not going to make much progress. So if you don't start meditating now, you're never going to do it. So start meditating now, start practicing mindfulness, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. My next video is probably going to be the habit tracker video, where I'm going to explain everything I can about habit trackers. Once again, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you next time. Stay mindful.